Hello students, welcome back to my channel. How are you? I hope all of you must be doing good and must be busy with your exams which is approaching now. Actually, some of the students had asked me to prepare a video, to make this video on poetic devices. So in this video, I would be telling you what is exactly the poetic device, and I'll give you some examples of some of the poetic devices, and after that I'll be concluding the chapter The Road Not Taken, written by Robert Frost. But before that, I would explain the different poetic devices, some of them, so that it becomes easier for you to understand the poetic devices used in the poem Road Not Taken. So let's start. First is personification, a figure of speech that gives human qualities to non-human things or ideas, like the wind danced through the trees, or you can say the river bickering. Now the river never quarrels, the wind never dances. So here the nature is given as if they are the human beings. They are non-human beings, non-human things. Next comes metaphor, a figure of speech that compares two things that are not alike to make a deeper meaning, like life is a journey. Now life can never be a journey, but they are used together. Third is simile, a figure of speech that compares two things using the word like or as. Example, her eyes sparkled like stars. Now the word is used like, so this is called simile. Then comes alliteration. Alliteration is the repetition of a sound or a letter at the beginning of the multiple words in a series. The save soldier sticks in his head in sand. Now S word, save S, soldier S, stick S, then sand S. Now this alphabet is used many times. So this is alliteration. Assonance, it is the repetition of vowel or diphthong sounds in one or more words found close together, like here the loud alarm bells. Then comes brazen bells. You can bells, brazen bells. Now the sound bells. What tale of terror now their turbulence tells, in the startled ear of night, how they scream out there outright. Next comes consonance. Consonance is the repetition of specific consonant sounds in close proximity, like tiger, tiger burning bright in the forest of the night. Then comes irony. Irony has a few different meanings. The most common is the use of tone or exaggeration to convey a meaning opposite to what's being literally said. Second form of irony is situational irony, in which a situation or event contradicts expectations, usually in a humorous fashion. A third form is dramatic irony, where the audience of a play, movie, or other piece of art is aware of something that the characters are not. Basic irony, where what someone says does not match what they mean. Then comes ode. The ode is a short lyrical poem, often in praise of something. Pun. Pun is a play on words with using multiple meanings or similar sounds make a joke. Then comes hyperbole, which is usually the poets use in there. It's a literary and rhetorical device that uses extreme exaggeration to create strong impressions, evoke strong feelings, and emphasize a point. It's often used in poetry to make something sound more exciting, dangerous, or impressive than it actually is. Hyperbole is usually not meant to be taken literally. Then comes epithet. An epithet is a literary device that describes a person or a thing in a way that emphasizes a particular quality in a narrative. They can be adjectives or phrases that are joined by fixed association to the name of someone, something. For example, Ivan the Great or Wine Dark Sea are epithets. Epithets can create vivid imagery, enhance characterization to convey cultural or historical significance. In literature, this term is considered an element of poetic diction, something that distinguishes the language of poetry from ordinary language. Now I am starting The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost. He has used imagery, as I told you earlier. Now here the example is, in leaves no step had trodden black. Here you can imagine that this road is not used by anyone. That's why the steps had not trodden black. Next comes personification, giving non-human things human-like attributes. Example, because it was grassy and wanted wear. Now, because it was grassy and wanted wear, here the path is given the human-like desire to be used or want. Then comes alliteration, the repetition of consonant sounds at the beginning of the words to create a rhythmic effect, like long I stood. Consonants, as I said, repetition of consonant sounds. So example is, and looked down one as far as I could. Hyperbole, an exaggeration used for emphasis, as I already taught you. Now example, I shall be telling this with a sigh, somewhere ages and ages hence. Then comes the tone, the mood or feeling the writer presents in the poem, and he wants it to reach to the audience or the readers, which in this case is contemplative and slightly nostalgic, as you can see in the end. Repetition, as I said, using the same word or phrase multiple times for emphasis, like two roads diverged in a wood. Many times it has been used. Then comes irony. There is slight ironic touch when the traveler says the path he took had the better claim because it wanted wear. But then he suddenly contradicts himself by saying the paths are worn, really about the same. Then the rhyming scheme, that is A, B, A, B. Like the end word you can say would, both, stood, could, growth. So the rhyming is A, B, A, B. Then comes metaphor. The most evident metaphor is in the entire concept of the two roads, which symbolize life choices. I hope now you understood. If you have any problem, just let me know. Thank you.